How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be showing everyone my Holy Heals build. So many people have been wondering about how I put out as much heals as I do on this tune. And if I can find it here, I'll show a picture. Let's see, where is it? Oh, this is interesting. It does not appear to be here. And my screenshots are gone. Either way. Oh, I know why. I had a reset earlier. Okay. Either way, this build was the one that was that I managed to push over 120,000 with. I have repeatedly hit 100,000. 120 was the max cap that I've ever hit. So I'm going to be showing y'all exactly what went into this build, what potions to use, foods and stuff like that to get that to happen. So we're going to go into my inventory here and just show what all items I have equipped. I have the Spell Power Cure hat. You'll see that it is Divines, and it uses Max Magicka enchants on all of my armor. So it is a 5-piece Spell Power Cure. I have the hat, the shoulders, the gloves, and the legs as Spell Power. Nice and easy. I just went down the left side. And the shoulder and the waist as well. I forget that. It's only 4 on the left. 5 is the waist. And the second set is my Worm of the Worm Cult, or the Worm Raiments set, which I use the chest, the feet, and the 3 jewelries. Yes, I do not have the gold jewelry yet. I am still hoping that the gold vendor will drop those. And then, of course, Master Restoration Staves right there. I don't have my Master Restoration Staves on this tune, but they are, if you put them in there, it's more stamina for your characters when you're using your healing springs. Okay, moving on. And if you don't have Master's Restoration Staves, any basic restoration staff, just gold it out and that'll do. You can use them powered or pretty much whatever. That powered is going to get you that extra 7% to the bonus though. From there, we're going to go into the skills that is used for this, which you will see I have recently reset a bunch of this stuff, and we're in my, I don't know why that says woodworking there. We're going to go up here. But Healing Springs is the first one on my bar. It's pretty basic. You cast it, group heals. What a lot of people tend not to understand about this is that it stacks with itself. So hitting that group up to 6 targets inside the group, you can cast this about twice per second, and it lasts for 3 seconds each. It could give you a total of about 6. Am I doing my math? Yeah, 6 continuous Healing Springs heals going at once. Second one is going to be Combat Prayer. You want those buffs, and it is a heal as well, so it increases damage done for your teammates, as well as increasing their physical and spell resistance, giving them more protection. Breath of Life is your emergency heal. And looks like they finally made the cone effective. So inside its cone, that's your emergency heal. It can go from anywhere inside pretty much anything. It's 30 meters or 28 meters. So it's got a pretty ridiculous range on it. It's a great little heal for an emergency. The Ritual of Retribution, I actually used to use Extended Ritual because of the buffs that it provided, but since all these changes have gone down, Ritual of Retribution is the way to go. It's going to give increased healing, and it's going to also allow you to help out with the DPS a little bit. Not too much. Your primarily help with DPS is just going to come from heavy attacks. Pretty much constantly, as all you're doing is heavy attacking. And of course, your ultimate on bar 1 is your Ice Comet. Again, more DPS for you, and with Inner Light equipment, Inner Light and Ice Comet, that's going to be what gets you your high Magicka. Going to your back bar now, it's the Siphon Spirit that you applied directly to the enemy. Typically works really well when you have just one enemy, like a giant boss or something. Doesn't work so well when you're trying to dot up a lot of little enemies. So you just hit the enemy with that, and as the DPS are going, especially your mag DPS, are going to love it because it's going to return Magicka to them. The Turn Undead, I use this pretty much for a boost on top of the damage reduction as well as the Combat Prayer. They do stack. So you cast this down, make sure your group tries to stand inside it whenever possible. You'll see that it is a rather large circle capable of holding a good number of people. And yeah, that's how that's going to work. And they just stand inside it, and they get all the bonuses. The Stam DPS are going to love it, so try to get it closer to the boss so they're not at a long distance. Having this sit pretty much right on the boss's back, so they can all stand inside it behind the boss. That's going to be your best spot for it. And then, of course, Breath of Life on both bars. You want that emergency heal available to you at any given time. Luminous Shards again, and that should not be Ice Comet. That, in fact... so Luminous Shards and Inner Light again, you want those continuously, and this should be, your back bar should be Solar Prison. So that's what it should look like. I don't know why I had Ice Comet there. Solar Prison has got this mean little damage mitigation that it does. So it helps your teammates survive in an oh crap situation, and that's going to allow you to use that. As for all your passives, I pretty much recommend any passive you can throw points into. So all your Adrix Spear passives, all your Dawn's Wrath passives, Restoring Light. I use this tune as a partial tank too when I switch gear sets, so I've got a bunch of passes that you're not going to need. But pretty much anything you can see that I used to use Rapid Regen and some Steadfast Word stuff in here. It's, I don't think they're as viable as they used to be. But just make sure, no matter what you're doing, you've got all your passives available that you can. Yeah, I got some here I gotta do. Gotta get those later. Make sure you get this Magicka controller from the Mages Guild. That's pretty much the only passive there you're really going to need. You don't cast Inner Light unless you're in a PvP situation. The Banish the Wicked, that's going to help you when with your ultimate generation. Get the Undaunted passives whenever possible, as high as you can get them. You do have to be way up here to get the Undaunted Medal where you get that extra bonus. For this, you're only getting the 2% because you only have one type of armor and it's all light, but 2% is 2%. Nice little bonus you want to have. None of those are going to be used for the heal build, and of course all your racial passives. In addition, I recommend putting points into your alchemy. Getting this medicinal use up gets you a 30% longer time for your pots. That's going to be allowing you to, once you use a pot, it's going to last all the way through to the time you need to use your next pot. So there's no downtime on your regen from it. As opposed, I think of the standard is like 45 seconds. This puts it over a minute. So you get extra time on it. As well as the provisioning one, the 20 extra minutes to the food eaten. It just kind of helps out with not wasting your resources. And if you use drinks instead of food, use your connoisseur. And that's about that for the heals. Oh wait, the champion points. So I have somewhat an unusual way of doing things. Most people recommend not to go above the 75 points in any given one because it starts to, at that 75 point mark, it really starts to cap down. But as a healer, you want those extra few points, even as little as they're going to be. So we're going to start out with the we'll start out over here in the Apprentice tree because these are your big ones. 100 to Blessed, 100 to Elfborn. That's a nice huge chunk to each of those. So you get your 15% healing done, and then of course your 25% to your increased healing by that for your criticals. And then your staff experts. That's what I recommend as your final 10 points. It's not going to do too much. It's just your heavy attacks, increased damage, but it helps every little bit. Come over here. Your spell shield. As a healer and as this build using all light armor, you're not going to have a lot of resistance to physical or spell damages, which is why we're going this route. Even as high elf, because yeah, let's just face it, they don't take a big hit very well in a healing build. So 100 points into the spell shield, get you an extra 5,000 resistance. The light armor focus will get you your physical armor, your physical resistance. I keep saying armor and all these extra words. And then, of course, your quick recovery, 10%, just gets you a little extra healing to yourself and just that what's going on situation, something bad's happening. Then we can skip the tower. Nothing applies to a healer in there, which is sad, really, but whatever. The Arcanist for the Magicka recovery, you definitely want that. And then, of course, Tenacity, which is increased Magicka and stamina from your fully charged heavy attacks. As you're going to need to constantly do heavy attacks with this build, just to make sure you have enough to help your teammates out. It's very stable, but there are times where you will burn. You will just have to hunker down and burn your heals out. And this is going to drain your Magicka, even at 41,000 Magicka. And then, of course, you want a little bit extra into blocking because nobody wants to get taken out. So that's how I recommend you do your champion points. And let's see, we're going to back out of here now and see what else I got. Oh, one thing that a lot of people don't see is this little thing right here. Make sure you're all Magicka. Some people try to put a little extra health in. 18,000 health is enough to survive anything vet mode content. Your heals are going to be scaled off of your Magicka here. And, of course, your spell damage right here. You don't need a lot of spell damage as a healer, but this is a great way to go for you. Okay, I hope I didn't leave anything out of this video. So enjoy. I hope somebody out there finds this build useful. Have fun.